Hi all of you. So in this series about the left and the right hemisphere of our brains, I'm going to be talking to you about the house. The house about language. How does left and right hemisphere affect the language? How does it affect the way we listen to music? How does it affect our survival instinct? And as a women's independence coach, one thing that I want to bring in this whole aspect is the wiring different for the left and the right hemisphere for men and women. So I want to conclude with that, and then in the next video we'll also be talking about the damage. After a particular hemisphere gets damaged, how does it really what is the field of play, right? How does it really affect us, right? So let's move on and let me jump into the house. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the how is language affected. I had talked about the differences in the last video, and if you just look at language in the left hemisphere, it is generally the grammar, vocabulary, the literal meaning that one looks at. And in the right hemisphere, it is intonation, rise and fall of speech, and accentuation, which is basically, how we speak, right? So with this, you will actually be able to understand what is it that you are dominant with. Are you a left kind or are you the right kind? Do you really look for meanings, grammar and vocabulary for it to be right? Or are you looking for, that little bit of rise and fall in speech and, the drama that we do while we speak, right? So this will help you understand that. Let's move to the next one, which is actually the how is music heard in the brain for a person who is left hemisphere dominant and for a person who is right hemisphere dominant. So in the left hemisphere, typically the motor skills to play the instrument, how do you play the instrument logically, which one should be played, how do you play it, that part of it comes. And in the right, it is the melody that plays a very important role. Now again, you will know which is it that you are dominant in. Is it difficult for you to learn the words of the song? Then you are more right dominant, because what you're looking at is more for music and rhythm, whereas a left dominant hemisphere dominant person is more looking at how to play it well, right? How to play the instrument well. Okay, so this is the music part of it. Math, like we all keep talking about, for the left hemisphere dominant person, math in terms of counting, addition, subtraction, etc. plays a very important role, or helps you take the test very well. But for the right hemisphere dominant, estimating the set of objects, how many boxes are at the delivery pallet at work, these are something, or the application part comes into play. Okay, now let's look at which side will help you more in wilderness survival camps, right? So the left is actually the survival frame that it is in. It kicks in when you are, you're feeling really cold, food is scarce, or there is a polar bear or a lion that just shows up, and that's when the survival instincts kick in. And it's because it's the left that plays a very important role in the survival part of our life. So our left side controls our ability to survive, right? The right side is more, when warm places with more calm moods and less risk to your life, the right side is better. It is required that we both have left and right, because if there is a kind of a survival instinct that we need to get into, it is the left that kicks in first. So these are certain things that is good to know, isn't it? Now, which of it is playing more in you is something that you need to probably reflect and understand. For everything in life, are you looking at survival instinct as a major thing, or are you looking at, to sort of calm your mood down and have a less risk kind of an attitude? So you need to reflect that part of it in your life, right? Now, are the male and female brains wired differently, especially when it comes to the left and the right hemisphere? And neuroscientists have actually found out that yes, they are wired different. If you look at the slide there, after grouping the image by sex and inspecting the differences between the two, what has come out is that for a male, right, and female, the fiber pathways run back and forth within each hemisphere, for a male, while in a woman they tend to zigzag between left or between the left or logical and right or creative sides of the brain. So for a woman the pathways are zigzag, and for a man it runs like back and forth within each hemisphere. That itself probably helps us understand how we think, right? Because I had made a video on the tale of two brains, courtesy Mark Greger on, who's a marriage counselor, who talks about how zigzag, are the pathways of women, and it's exactly what it's getting reinforced here in this research, right? So great, guys. So look for the next one, wherein I'm going to be talking about the brain damage in this series. And do not forget to subscribe. LCS is like, comment, share and subscribe this video, and do put in your comments there so that we make it more interactive. This is of course information gathering of, I'm sure you must have read about it, you know already about it, but make it more interactive by asking me more questions. Thank you, take care, and thanks for watching.